Real Madrid are champions of Europe, 15-time Champions League winners, and man, I'm super excited. I'm super happy about the result. And like I said in yesterday's video, if you haven't watched that, go watch that. I wanted Real Madrid to win, but I wouldn't have been all that upset if Dortmund won. And let's be very clear, in the beginning of that game, it looked very much like Dortmund was probably going to walk away with a win there. They were creating so many chances, and if we're being really honest, we're so unlucky to hit the post and to barely send it wide and to do all of the things to where they, couldn't get the ball in the back of the net, especially because early on their speed was dominating Real Madrid's back four. And that's one of the things that I'm worried about with Real Madrid going into the summer, which we're going to do a summer wish list before the transfer window starts here in 2 weeks. But that's coming soon. So if you're interested in that, hit the subscribe button. But it's just like I said, it's interesting to see how Dortmund came out. And Real Madrid historically have kind of come out flat in the first half. And we saw that same exact thing in today's game. They came out flat in the first half, turned it around in the second, and were able to come back and win the game. And even though Dortmund never really held the lead, I felt like Dortmund, for a good chunk of the first part of the game, controlled the game. And we see that towards the end when Real Madrid started to kick it on and everything like that, that it skewed towards Real Madrid's favor. Possession, 58% of the possession, 6 shots on target of the 13 shots total, 91% pass accuracy, 550 passes. You can see all of the things skewing towards Real Madrid's side as they came in and started to dominate at the end. Now, a couple of things to say about Dortmund before we get onto the whole Real Madrid part of it. Dortmund played exceptionally well, and if you're a Borussia Dortmund fan, you should be very excited about the future of that team, especially if they can keep the players around. I know that Sancho's loan is going to end. You have to kind of hope that you can bring him back. Adeyemi's speed, which just absolutely cooked Madrid for so much of that game. You have to try to keep this core together if you're Dortmund and not try and sell everybody like they generally do, because this team can win a lot of things. And I think that this team can legitimately push for a Bundesliga title next year, assuming they can stay together and be another year in the system. Now, moving on to Real Madrid. Real Madrid came out, and you could tell that there was some flaws, I think at least fundamentally, on how they were positioning themselves defensively, because you saw that Jude wasn't being able to put himself in a position to really be a part of the attack because he had to drop so far to play in the defense on that left side. So he had to run from that central position, that center attacking mid, that 10 spot that we have him playing, all the way back to essentially be playing left mid because we wanted to keep Toni Kroos central. Now, obviously next year we're not going to really see a lot of that because you're going to be able to play Camavinga out on the left side where Toni Kroos is probably playing right now. Put Tchouaméni back in the middle as that holding midfielder, which that role that he plays so well. And now you have Valverde and Camavinga playing out wide, as that left mid, right mid, and filling in those gaps in defense so that Jude can play more centrally in that spot. And again, you could see tactically some interesting decisions that were made. Now, ultimately, it ended up working out, but I was very surprised to see how non-existent Rodrigo was in the game. Just really didn't have an impact in the game. And I love Rodrigo, and I love how he plays, but he was just... I didn't realize he was on the pitch, and that's saying something. So a lot of questions that need to be had, a lot of conversations that need to be had going into the summer. What do you do about the front three? Do you keep it? Do you turn it into a front three with Kylian Mbappe coming to the team? Do you transition from a front three to a front two? And do you maybe move on from a guy like Rodrigo? I don't think I don't pretend to think to know to have the answers, right? But you have to be able to have, in my opinion, a front three of Vini, Kylian, and Rodrigo, because I think that is our best attacking option. And if you have a front three of that, then what are you going to do in the midfield? I think that Real Madrid should maybe transition into a 3-4-3, play with 3 center backs, and I think that would help the team in a couple of ways. One, you can start phasing out Carvajal, who's getting a little bit younger. You can sell Mendy, which seems like that's what the team wants to do. And then you can just invest in center backs, which I think we have a plethora of right now. Even with Nacho possibly leaving the team, I think we have a lot of kids in the youth system that can come in and be a part of the team. So very happy with Real Madrid winning the Champions League, winning the 15th. Next year, I want to win the treble, and that's the goal for next year. Win the treble. You have no excuses to not win the treble with how weak La Liga is right now in comparison to what Real Madrid is going to look like, and like with the rest of Europe looking how it is, with how Madrid is going to look like. Let me know what you guys thought of the Champions League in the comment section below, and we'll talk to you soon.